or get crazy with the old guy.
The whole world is crazy, man. Man, women today are crazy, man. My wife. Y'all don't know my wife. Cause my wife is crazy, man. You ever eat cheese doodles? Cheese doodles are crazy.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is Talking Crazy 88, back again with another podcast for you. I wanted to do a quick podcast because there's some fuckery that's going on YouTube and regarding the Confederate flag. And I think I recorded a podcast. I haven't put it up on my feelings on the Confederate flag issue, but I'm just gonna let y'all guys know how I feel about it. Yeah, it's a flag of a dead country, which the white supremacists still in the South still want to honor as their heritage, not realizing that the Confederates lost the war and became part of the Union once again. And they want to talk about states' rights, but that's always been if you read your Constitution, people, there has always been states' rights, where the federal government could not get involved in state government issues, and vice versa. Read your goddamn Constitution, people. Matter of fact, read a fucking book. And this is the purpose of this podcast. A lot of you motherfuckers need to start reading books instead of watching TV and cooning. For instance, hang on for a second. Hang on. All right, I'm back, gang. Like, for instance, there is this, you've probably seen this video of this delusional black woman waving around who resides in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This punk ass bitch by the name of Karen Cooper, who has a picture of herself waving the Confederate flag proudly, the battle flag, part of the Tea Party, believes that flag it represents freedom. And you know what this punk ass bitch was quoted in the video that I saw, and which I'm going to play this 4.5 minute bullshit. Let me play this bullshit for you right now. Hold on.
If you would like to know a little bit about Karen Cooper, I don't like to be told what to do. I'm a proud Virginia flagger, and we are at Hollywood Cemetery in Richmond, Virginia. I grew up in New York. I was a member of the Nation of Islam in New York. You know, the Nation of Islam thinks, races should be separate, black and white and stuff like that. And then I came down here and we were more together, and I just realized, I was like, well, that can't be right because there's a lot of nice white folks. I mean, people wave to me that
Hold on. A lot of nice white folks. Cooning at his best, people. Hang on for just a second.
I've never known. The North, they claim that they like black people and they care about black people, but it is so segregated, it's not funny. I felt more welcomed in the South. I believe in a very limited, very small government. I joined the Tea Party because I actually wanted to tell people that the federal government shouldn't be doing all this stuff that they're doing. You are not to control every aspect of our life. And so on Facebook, I started meeting, my friends who was in the Tea Party. They were mostly, they had Confederate ancestors. Then I met this lady, Susan Hathaway, and she started flagging. And I said, well, I should go out there and flag with her because, one, I support, Confederate history, and two...
Let me just stop here. You got a black woman who supports Confederate history of a dead country, a dead nation that made their money off of human beings, such as slavery. Your black ass, your ancestors. See, this is the type of woman or person that the young people. This is the type of person that's going to stand in your way of your progress. This is the type of woman that's going to probably be in a management position, reviewing your resume, and probably rejecting you for a job at a white-owned company. And this is the type of woman that's going to be the overseer over your future, people. But let me just play the rest of this bullshit.
It's a great way to show my freedom of speech. It's my right to be able to be out there in public with the battle flag, so that's why I did it. I know what people think about when they see the battle flag. All they think is KKK and we hate black people.
Well, the KKK proudly was wearing the flag and waving the flag as they were lynching our ancestors. So, yeah, it's a part of Southern history. But let me play the rest of this bullshit.
We want to bring slavery back. So I knew it was going to be something for people to see a black woman with the battle flag. Actually, most people don't even stop to talk to me because I think they in such...
And you think that they would take the time to talk to you? Because you're as nutty as a fruitcake. Walking around as a black woman, as a black person, any black person running around with waving a flag of a dead country that never actually saw you as a citizen until after the Civil War. Unbelievable.
Shock to see me out there with the battle flag. I don't even think they don't have the nerve to even ask why I'm out there. I'm not advocating slavery or think that, it was right. It wasn't, and none of my friends think it was. It was just something that happened. It just didn't happen in the South. It happened worldwide. I've said this before, and people... is a choice. And I say that because of what Patrick Henry said. Give me liberty or give me death.
Now, this bitch actually came out of her mouth and said that slavery was a choice. And equated that choice with Patrick Henry, who stated, give me liberty or give me death. Now, when he made that statement, he was referring to revolting against the British on the tea tax. And guess where guess where your ancestors were when he made that statement? Was in the fields picking cotton. along with my ancestors. So, yeah, slavery was a choice. You either do as you told or you die. You had no freedom except going to heaven if you believe in an afterlife, or going six feet under, or being thrown off the ship, or being shot in the head. Of course you're gonna have a choice. You either pick that cotton or you die. And I'm certain a lot of my ancestors who survived that torture, who survived that indignity, kind of saw it as a good thing. But in my view, I kind of see it as a good thing that we did survive. Although we have so much psychological issues afterwards. I mean, hell, we weren't exactly quote unquote free until after 1966. Okay? That's when quote unquote legal segregation ended. But let me play the rest of this bullshit.
To me, if we ever went back to that kind of slavery, no, I couldn't do it. Give me death. I feel I'm a slave now.
You know what? I'm not going to talk about my ancestors who happened to survive slavery. I'm not going to call them cowards or punk ass bitches. And I'm not going to call the ones that actually died fighting against slavery punks and cowards. If you read the history, if you read a little bit if you picked up a book, and if you read some of these slave narratives, which I am currently doing right now, you would realize that the black race, we ain't punks. Okay? When it really comes down to it, we ain't punks. We ain't cowards. Some of us have to show bravery by doing what we have to do to survive. Now, the cowardly thing to do is to sell out your own people for a butter biscuit. And that's what this coon would do if she ever was trapped in chattel slavery. But let me play the rest of this bullshit.
Because the federal government does control me. I can't smoke what I want to smoke. I can't drink what I want to drink. If I want to put something into my body, it's my body, not theirs. So what gives them the right to tell me what I should do?
Who the fuck is trying to tell you not to drink? Tell you what and what not to drink? Bitch, I wish you would drink some poison right now. Go ahead, you have my blessing. Go ahead, drink a cup of poison so you can kill yourself. Punk ass bitch.
That's tyranny. But yet and still, it's only the Southerners and it's only the battle flag that has all the weight and the guilt on it, and it's not.
Yeah, because you don't see this shit in California. You don't see this shit up in New York or Illinois. You don't see that shit anywhere else but the South. A bunch of toothless, hillbilly, white trash, white supremacist mutants who still believe that the South is going to rise again. Let me play the rest of this bullshit.
Right. It's not right. I actually think that it...
Oh, yeah, and can you believe this bullshit? Let me go ahead and continue to play it.
Represents freedom. It represents a people who stood up to tyranny. And by me being out there, I hope that you would see this is not racist. racist? I mean, how can it be racist if I'm out there with them? I'm talking with them. I'm hugging them, you know. I'm conversing them. These are my best friends that I'm out here with. What I hope to change or to accomplish is just to, I don't know, wake a few people's minds up and stop believing that that flag is about race. I want them to stop thinking that, you know, but, you know, that's up to them. In the end, I'm just doing it for me. It makes me feel good. Right? That's why I put myself out there.
Did you hear that shit? Can you believe this bullshit? Yeah. Okay, let's go along with this punk ass bitch. And I'll say, yeah, the flag doesn't have anything to do with race. It has a lot to do with, Southern history, Confederate history, which, as black folks, we were never really a part of. We were never really a part of unless we were in the fields picking cotton. Okay? Picking cotton, picking tobacco, you know, sharecropping. We was never a part of the high. There was no black man that was a high-ranking Confederate soldier. There was no black man that was captain of industry during the South. There was no black man that held political positions in the Confederate government. Bitch, in the South, we were slaves, baby. Baby, we were slaves. Your mama was a slave. Your daddy was, your great-great-great-great-granddaddy was a slave. Your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmama was a slave. Everybody was a slave at that time. And it's amazing to me that this bitch was from New York, was part of the Nation of Islam. I wondered what happened during that time that she was in the Nation of Islam, where she had to move down to Virginia and suck up the white folks. You know, like that one nigger at a time. You know, young folks. See, this is the reason why you should really pick up a book, go to the library, go to the if you're in the New York area, go to the Schomburg Library, pick up a few books on history, black history, read some slave narratives, you know, educate yourself on gaining knowledge of yourself, gaining knowledge of slavery, Reconstruction, segregation, the period of time, lynching. You know, really learn what really happened during slavery, how black men and black women and black children were treated during that time. So, and I want to also comment on some crispy coon, and you know who he is. Some crispy coon did a 2-part video on how black folks, you know, had a choice, you know, pretty much reiterating what this punk ass bitch was saying. And this punk ass Panamanian spick nigga, who pretty much went along with that stereotype about black folks in Africa sold off individuals to the white man to go to the Americas, which was really a misnomer, which is pretty much a white supremacist, which is one of the white supremacist argument, to deflect on their role, their ancestors' role in slavery. Like kind of like how Ben Affleck tried to hide the fact that his relatives was a part of that shit, a part of that a part of slavery. Owned slaves, owned human beings, tortured human beings, raped the slave girls, and tortured the slave men by sodomizing them right in front of their families. Doing all these depraved, deviant, perverted acts on human beings. Now this is what I mean by when I say that white folks are a godless, soulless, vacant group of people. I mean, in my view, I believe that they're mutants, and that's what I refer to them as, mutants. Because they bring nothing but disease and destruction and pervertedness. Well, not only just black folks, but other non-white folks all over the world, people. Now, this crispy coon was talking a mad shit about black Americans, and he's in the country where white folks don't even know or care whether or not he was born in Panama. If he was born and raised in Panama. And this punk ass nigga, crispy coon, I find it amazing that there are black folks listening to this crispy coon with his anti-black rhetoric. Going along with the white supremacist anti-black rhetoric. Calling black Americans cowards, that they should have fought against slavery, because if more black folks had fought, there wouldn't have been no need to purchase more black slaves to bring over to the Americas and the Caribbean and even Panama, Central America, South America. And I only know this because I picked up a book while I was in college. Slave trade didn't end here in America. That's why I keep telling my cousins overseas that come over here, that immigrate over here in the United States, I tell them, look, my people and your people were on that same slave ship. They just dropped me off here first. Okay? They just dropped my people off here in America first. So there's no difference. So I ain't got no beef with y'all. Matter of fact, I think more and more of our cousins overseas on the island in Central America, in South America, we should really, get a connection with each other. Because white supremacy is kicking our ass. They're catching hell down in Brazil. The black folks down there are catching hell in Brazil. They're catching hell in Ecuador. And they damn sure is catching hell in Argentina, where down there they whitewashed all existing history of black folks or in slave trades in Argentina. There's no record of black folks representing that country. It's all whitewashed. It's all Europeanized in Argentina. this crispy coon loves to throw around third grade analogies, like such as if a thug nigga stuck a gun to your head and told you to suck my dick, or I'll blow your brains out, what would you do? You would just say, nah, I ain't doing it. But let me ask you this question, people. Has anyone ever stuck, other than a woman, probably a woman have, because they probably got raped in that fashion. Other than women, has anybody ever walking down the street and you cross paths with a thug nigga or any kind of nigga, and he pulls out his gun, points it to your head, and asks you to suck his dick? Now, I can imagine somebody pointing a gun at you and say, "Give me your wallet, give me your gun, give me your phone, give me what you got in your pocket." I don't think they're thinking about getting their dick sucked. So, in my experience, and according to the news, or as I call it, the news entertainment systems, I have never heard of anybody pulling out a gun and asking that person or demanding that person to suck his dick. That has never happened. If that ever did happen to me, I would think it's some sort of a joke, and I probably would just walk away, laughing, cracking up, saying, "This nigga don't want money, he don't want my phone, he wants me to suck his dick." This has got to be a joke. Where's the camera? So, it's kind of like a stupid analogy to me, in my view. But that's what a critical thinker like myself would actually say to this guy. And then he loves to bring up the fact that the Native Americans, who encountered the white man that came to this country and just took over. Boasting up their history where they fought back. Well, if you had to pick up the book, that a lot of these Native American tribes were just as dark as I am. But they did not have the immune system to fight off the disease that these mutants brought with them from Europe. So they died off. A lot of these Native American tribes died off due to diseases. And yeah, they fought back, but guess where they were placed when they couldn't fight anymore? They were placed on the reservations, people. Look up the history of the Nez Perce tribe up in, I think, right around Idaho and Washington State area. Idaho, primarily in Idaho. Chief Joseph. Look up the guy named Chief Joseph, who fought against the Union soldiers up there, who tried to put them on a reservation. And he fought a good battle, but a lot of his people were dying off. And he said it himself, "My people are cold, they're sick, they're dying. I will fight no more forever." Go ahead and read. I want y'all to read that book too. Pick up a book. See, this is why, young people, turn off your TV and start reading a book every once in a while, people. And y'all probably did not know about the history of Dr. Marcus Whitman, who was a medical doctor, white man who was a medical doctor and a missionary who tried to help out the native tribes out there, out in Oregon, Washington State, and Oregon. Now, hang on for just a second. All right. The native people, the Cayuse tribe, they had settled out there to provide medical care as a missionary, to provide medical care and set up a school for the Native American children. But again, these white folks brought diseases which the native people were not immune to, which were measles. They weren't immune to it. So a lot of the Native Americans were dying from these diseases. And Dr. Whitman tried to cure them, but the native tribes, the Cayuse tribe, started noticing that the white folks were being cured, but their people were dying. So they said, "Oh hell no! Oh hell no! We got to do something about this bullshit." So the Cayuse tribe held the Whitmans, which were Dr. Whitman and his family, captive among other people, other missionaries, and murdered them, killed them off. Look up the Cayuse War, people, where eventually the Union troops came in and put an end to that shit. And it's so amazing that there was a university that was named after this clown, Dr. Whitman. So the natives had it worse than us. Because even then, when the white man, the poor white trash, started noticing that the natives were getting money, housing, and medical care and everything else for being on that reservation, because they are considered sovereign land. Look up the history on the $5 Indian, the Dawes Roll. Look that up, people. So you gotta do your reading. Crispy coons out there not reading your book. You're not reading your history, people. Y'all in love with white men and white people so much that you want to be close to them. You want them to touch you. You want them to rub your hair. You want to be their pets. Well, I don't want to be no white man's pet. Okay? I like learning about my history. I love learning about the atrocities, the psychological torture, the terrorism that was inflicted on black folks in this country. Now, people say you should be patient with these coons, these crispy coons. You need to be there and turn them so they can just turn their lives around, become enlightened, and turn them around. No. These crispy coons are dangerous to black Americans and black Americans' progress. I'm telling you, young people, I'm over 40 now. And I'm telling y'all, it's up to y'all to come up with a code of conduct and ignore crispy coons out there that's giving you the wrong information. Because the information that this coon and coons like this, the crispy coon, and this coon like this female coon, this coonette, waving around a battle flag of a dead country that had U.S. slaves who did not represent black folks at that time. We were not a part of their history. Because I don't remember. I don't know much about Confederate history, but I'm just going to assume that there were no black folks that were a part of that history. Okay? I'm just going to leave it at that. Oh, my goodness. People, pick up a book. Stop listening to these crispy coons out there. And if you think I'm full of shit, stop listening to me. You can stop listening to me as well. I'm just giving another point of view that, hey, there are a lot of people that's not that are not that educated, or just have degrees and have no who are as dumb as a box of rocks. They just managed to get through 4 years of college, 2 years of post-secondary education, postgraduate education, and able to have a radio show, appearing to lose his mind while he claims that he's a counselor, but yet he's acting like a fucking fool. Unbelievable. But this is not an attack on him. I'm not attacking him. I'm just saying fuck him. And fuck all of y'all unintelligent niggas out there who want to follow this guy or anybody like him. And then you got some brainless motherfucker like Painless. That's another one that's that's low functioning and unintelligent niggers out here who don't want to pick up a book. That's the problem with Americans. They don't want to pick up a book. They don't want to read about your history. There's a plethora of information out there that black folks have access. That has access. It's hidden. It's not lost history. It's hidden. It's hidden from us who, where the information is owned primarily by our captors. And that's another thing, young folks. You got to reclaim your history from your captors. Okay? The slave owners. Okay? Shit. Alright, gang. I gotta run. This is talking crazy. Oh, yeah. Before I go, I'm going to still upload some podcasts that I recorded. So don't worry about that. I have time over the weekend to go ahead and do that. Take care of that. But listen, let me go ahead and get on out of here, people. This is Talking Crazy 88. And I am out of here. Pick up a book, please.